Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, the race to lead the new patriotic party is intensifying as all five aspirants face the party's vetting committee. Former General Secretary Kokode-Nwamase Japan and former Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan have already appeared before the panel. We'll take you live to the party's headquarters for the very latest. But first, let's hear from aspirant Kennedy Japan, who expressed confidence in his chances of leading the party to victory in the year 2028.
I was prepared, so I believe I answered all the questions, and they know I'm ready to be president of this country. Yeah.
What were your major takeaways from today's session?
So they really wanted to know why I want to be president and my vision for the country, as well as the party. So I enumerated a couple of points and how I'm going to address some problems. So basically that was the interview. They know I've been through and through party man for so long. So I didn't face any serious questions, or they didn't antagonize me because they know my potential already. But they asked tangible and reasonable, I would say reasonable questions. They were not hostile to me, and I was free to answer their questions.
I imagine you plan to use the Asian model to develop Ghana.
I said it there too. I told them and explained what I mean by Asian model. You know, I have seen some proof. Let me explain further. The Asian model, what they did at that time when they decided to compete with Europe and America was that they identified potential talents and potential businessmen and funded their projects like Daewoo, Hyundai, Samsung in Korea, for instance. They made sure, made conscious efforts to support them by giving them loans. And the loans, what they did was that if Mr. Honorable Kwaku decides to build this building, they will ask for the cost of the raw materials and where he's going to get the raw materials from. The government then sends the money to the company manufacturing the raw materials. And they will give you a couple of months. If you tell them the imports or your raw materials or whatever equipment you're going to use will arrive in 3 months. In 3 months, the following week, 3 months, 1 week, they are there to inspect if indeed you receive the equipment. Now, what they do is that the government partners the individual, the private sector. So they will win themselves off when you finish paying the loan. Then it becomes your business. And you know, in business, the most difficult part is the capital. So if government supports you to get the capital and you run it well, you become a millionaire. This is how they've been able to expand their businesses. India, Dubai, all the Asian, that is how the model they use. And I think because Ghana, we don't have capital for our businesses. You know, set up businesses, initially they are very tough.
Well, let's cross over live to the NPP headquarters where my colleague Kenneth Jesse is on standby right now. So far, Ken, how many aspirants do we know have successfully gone through the process?
Well, that will be 3. Moments ago, we saw former Agric Minister Brian Champon exit that particular building. Also, very confident of victory. And earlier, Kennedy Japan was vetted, and the first person to be vetted was Kokode-Nwamase Japan, who is the party's former General Secretary. And I asked Brian Champon a couple of questions, especially about the jabs that have been going on within the party. He says that it is normal for an internal contest for people to be throwing jabs amongst each other. And I also asked him about the 4 million Ghana cedis development fee, which has become a bone of contention for some of the aspirants. And he says that as a potential presidential candidate of any of the major political parties in the country, you should be able to be resourceful enough to raise 4 million Ghana cedis. So he does really not see it as a big problem. And he mentioned that his team has already made payment. Now, about a minute or two ago, though, former Vice President and the party's 2024 flag bearer, Mahmoud Bawumia, just entered the premise of the campaign office of the New Patriotic Party. That will make it 4, the number of presidential aspirant hopefuls who have been here. And later, we'll be expecting former Education Minister and MP for Bosomtwe, Yao Seidu. He will be the final person to be vetted here. So as we speak right now, Mahmoud Bawumia, former Vice President and 2024 flag bearer of the opposition NPP, has just entered the building with his entourage ready to be vetted by the vetting committee, which is being chaired by former Defense Minister and Meshia MP, Dr. Adokufo.
Okay, let's listen first to Brian Champong himself. Ken, I'll be back to you just to get updates as to really if any of the aspirants have been raising concerns about the development fee. Let's listen to Brian Champong. We'll be back.
Territory Party headquarters. I've been here, a member of this party. I met with the committee and standard questions. It's a vetting. It's not an interview. It's a vetting. To see whether I qualify. And as a member of parliament, it's very easy to qualify for such a vetting unless you have any other thing against you. And I don't have anything. So we just had a normal conversation about how we're going to move our party forward.
There was an issue about development fee, 4 million Ghana cedis, which some of the aspirants raised concerns about, saying that is the party now being sold to the highest bidder? Why is the party charging development fee? You are one of the candidates to lead the party. What do you have to say about the development fee?
Well, as far as I am concerned, it was a requirement that came with the forms that we have to pay a development fee. If you are a presidential candidate, you have to be able to demonstrate resourcefulness, to be able to mobilize what is required to fulfill the party's requirement. It has been done. As to whether it is the right amount, fair amount, exorbitant or low, that is up to the party people and the party leadership to decide. I am not for, against. I'm very neutral about it. I think that my team have fulfilled that requirement, and we are ready to embark on our campaign.
I'm sure you asked about your vision for the country. What did you tell the panel?
But I don't think that it came in that form. The vetting largely is based on your qualification to be a presidential candidate and to satisfy the constitutional requirement. That is what the vetting is about. There were some side questions more about how we bring the party together, or the vision on how, when you become a candidate, unite us to win. Those questions were answered square and fair. But I took an oath in there not to discuss the details of the vetting committee. If you are to ask me on another forum of my vision for the party and the country, I will be able to tell you. But for the things that happen inside the vetting committee, because of the oath that I took, you may have to.
Kenneth, apart from Brian Champong, who else raised concerns about the development fee?
Is the only person who has spoken about this development fee, but the very first candidate to raise concerns about this development fee, as we will all recall, is the party's former General Secretary, Kwabena Ejapon, who said it was an exorbitant amount which is being charged by the party. And not long ago, the chairman of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party, Hackman Osu Ajiman, also said that if you fail as a potential candidate to pay that particular development fee, you will automatically be disqualified. But as we speak right now, all three, and then the fourth person is currently in the room. We'll be expecting the fifth person a bit later as well. It appears that there has been a consensus, and it appears that they have all agreed to pay this particular development fee. But as we speak right now, Brian Champon, who you had moments ago, says that he has no issue with the development fee. We're yet to pose that particular question to the former vice president and the party's 2024 flag bearer, Mahmoud Bawumia, if he also has an issue or otherwise concerning this particular development fee. So as we speak right now, and as I mentioned earlier, the former vice president is currently in the campaign office of the NPP here at Kokode-Nwamase in Accra, facing the vetting committee. He is the last but one person to face the committee. And a bit later, when he has exited, former education minister and MP for Bosomtwe, Yao Osei Educhum, will also take his turn to face the vetting committee. And that will wrap up a process that started somewhere around 10 a.m. this morning. Faustina.
I know they're tight-lipped about some of the key questions asked during the vetting, but how long did the process take for each of the aspirants that have come before the committee?
On average, it takes about an hour for the aspirants to exit that particular building when they enter. And of course, they will take time, everybody and how they take their time to answer some questions. So the minutes vary, but on average, they take about an hour or less. But so far, we've not seen anybody who has gone beyond an hour and 30 minutes, let's say. So it's been an average of an hour they spend there, and then they come out.
Thank you so much, Kenneth Jesse. We'll come back to you later in the day in other bulletins, just get updates as to how the other vetting processes went on. Now, still on the NPP, they have submitted a petition to the Inspector General of Police and the Presidency after hundreds of its members took to the streets of Accra to protest alleged intimidation by the Mahama-led administration. The party's national organizer, Henry Nana Boakye, told JoyNews that the NPP will, quote, not be intimidated, unquote, by what it considers deliberate attempts by state institutions to target and silence its members. Speaking at the Ensro Ehunehuna protest in Accra, organized by the party's national youth wing under Salam Mustapha, Nanabi also accused the police of clear bias in handling political cases.
Support the core, the deliberate weaponization of state institutions to harass opposition members is most unfortunate. And this is the more reason why the National Youth Wing is embarking on this protest. The law is that you can, by way, file a defamation suit at the court. You do not criminalize free speech. No. We have repealed criminal libel law a long time ago. So as we speak, you cannot criminalize free speech. And there is also this selective application of the law, selective justice. And that is what today we are protesting against.
You cannot be telling us that we should be one people, only to treat us separately and discriminatorily. You cannot tell us that you are for all Ghanaians, but be going after a few. We support the application of the law, but not the abuse of processes in the application of the law. We support the rule of law, but not tyranny of the law. So please, this is a message to the government. If you cannot clean our water bodies, if you cannot give us jobs, if you cannot give our women money, please don't take away our right to speak. If you think someone has misspoken, take them to a judge. Let a judge give the ruling so that we will know that a judge declared us guilty. Guilt does not lie in the hands of the IGP.
The law is not fair on us, because if you look at how the law works in Ghana today, it seems like the law works on the NPP members and don't work on the government in power.
There are so many issues happening in our country. The constant harassment, the constant intimidation, and we believe that there should be an end to this kind of incessant harassment and intimidation of supporters that the government believe that they are not on their side. But all these people are contributing to nation building, and the deliberate gagging of social media activists and the instilling of fear in them. This is inconsistent with the provisions in our constitution. And it's on the basis of this that today I've joined the protest against harassment and I've joined the protest to also make it clear that President Mahama has a responsibility to protect free speech.
Freedom of speech is part of democracy. I can criticize, but that doesn't mean that you should send a Maria to come and put handcuff on my hand and put me in the black car because of I criticize what the government.
Well, the NPP submitted a petition to the IGP, and coming up on your screens are just key excerpts of some of the demands they're making, the concerns they're raising about gagging of free speech, and what exactly they want this administration to do. Some of their key demands on your screens now. They want the NDC government to put an immediate stop to the ongoing, what they describe as political harassment and prosecution of their members. They also want persecution of their members. They also want the immediate stop of the continuous criminalization of speech attacks on press freedom and suppressing dissenting voices in the country. They raise concerns about Facebookers and TikTokers, and they say they're critical to the government and that their voices should not be silenced. They go on to talk about the police. They want the police to act on their petition and provide updates on the so-called arrest of Chairman Azoka, including details of his charges, bail conditions, and date of court hearings. They also want the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies to put an end to Rambo-style midnight arrest of opposition members. Well, let's explore this further. Salam Mustapha of the NPP joins us now live here on The Pulse. I'm just going through some of the key demands you're making. You're not pleased with the police statement detailing the arrest of Chairman Azoka because they put out a statement. Is the party saying they're not pleased with the details that the police put out?
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. It is not the case that we are not pleased. It is the case that it is a charade. When the police put out that statement, within hours, Chairman Azoka posted a video of him sitting at his base with his boys, laughing. And clearly, you can understand that he was laughing at the police. Because 2 days prior to that, he was at the Tamale Central parliamentary primaries of the NDC, where Professor Alidu emerged as a parliamentary candidate, who I understand today has been confirmed as the MP elect for Tamale Central to replace the former MP who unfortunately we lost. So it is not the NPP saying that, but it is the conduct of the police and how it was rubbished by Chairman Azoka. When you do that, you further give credence to the fact that you cannot attempt to arrest Chairman Azoka because he is NDC vice chairman.
But the police tells us that he has been arrested and granted bail.
To which court? On what date? We are not children in this country. We don't wash our faces upwards. If it were true, Chairman Azoka will not post a video to laugh at them. And I'm telling you that Chairman Azoka was in Tamale. And how the Eastern Regional Police were able to arrest him in Tamale. And I don't know which court they took him to grant him bail. This is everybody's imagination. But it clearly tells you that it's a charade.
Let's go to point 6 of some of the key demands you're making.
The problem of the police. Yes.
You are demanding the cessation of weaponization of state institutions. Explain this to us.
State agencies, especially state security agencies, have been weaponized to harass and intimidate NPP people. Iyoko, we have seen arrest Chairman Wontumi with a hefty bail condition of 50 million. After that, they arrested former Buffer Stock CEO Hanan and the wife and gave them bail condition to the tune of 80 million Ghana cedis. These bail conditions are absolutely unreasonable, and they know it.
So you're raising concerns about the bail condition set and not necessarily the police inviting them, because if you're on the wrong side of the law, Iyoko as well as the IGP, they have the right to invite you.
That we have been making. Exactly the point that we have been making. We are not against state institutions doing their work. We are against the persecution of the people. If you have a case against them, invite them, arrest them, take them through the due process. But where you are taunting them, you are intimidating them, you are persecuting them, then it swims in the realm of politics. And
you feel your members are persecuted?
Yes, what's going on is persecution. Let me give you a very classical example. If you watch point 11 of the petition, you will see the case. In fact, two cases involving Dr. Mustapha Abdulhamid, former NPA boss, and the former finance minister, Ken Oforiatta. The OSP has been going after them in the most brazen manner. And to add salt into injury, Paul Adum Otri was recently arrested by the same OSP and asked to produce, bail conditions in the sum of a landed property in his own name. When he says that he doesn't have, they say, okay, then we'll keep you.
But the OSP is doing their job, aren't they? The job that they've been commissioned to do.
A board chairman and a CEO who signs a contract that you have an issue with, on what basis do you go and arrest the board chairman who doesn't sign a contract as against the person who signed the contract, the CEO who is still sitting there? It clearly tells you that somebody is fixated with somebody, and that at all costs, they must get the person and deal with it. And that runs into the realm of politics.
Who is fixated on who? The OSP? You think he's interested in this? Any personal interest?
What happened with Paul Adum Otri, with Mustapha Hamid, going on with Ken Oforiatta is pure politics. Ken Oforiatta is sick, about to undergo surgery, writes to OSP. OSP says, no. You come here. Let me see whether indeed you are well or not. Please, let's not do that.
But Ken Oforiatta was also given various timelines to appear before the OSP and his lawyers. But let's not go into that and the details. I see that you've petitioned the IGP, the same IGP that you feel his members, the police, is trying to abuse your members. So how confident are you that they would heed to your concerns?
Absolutely. We have petitioned the IGP that he and his men should set up and do the work in the manner that shows fairness, equity, and that they are not biased. Because now they are showing bias. They are showing insincerity, especially to us in the NPP. And we don't shy away from saying so. And we have given reasons, plethora of them in the petition, to drum home the point. The various arrests that they have done. And the petition against NDC people, we have taken to them, and they have failed to arrest these people in the same manner that they have been arresting NPP people. So there's clearly a case of selective application of the law.
Okay. As we wrap up the conversation, though, I wanted to find out from you briefly, is this a one-time demonstration? Do we expect it in other parts of the country, especially because there are concerns that the turnout today was poor?
Certainly, it shook them. And I'm sure the videos are there. You have seen it. Your reporters were there. So if anybody sits somewhere and say the attendance was poor, that is the person's, imagination, because we're able to draw the numbers on the street. If they continue, we will also continue to use democratically mandated tools to continue to protest against these arrests and also against the government. We'll picket, we'll do more demonstrations, and I'm sure the next one we will go to another part of the country and stage another mammoth demonstration like we have done today. We are very satisfied, we are very happy, and let me say that I commend the police for a yeoman's job today. It was difficult at the point controlling the crowd, but they were patient with all of us, and we worked hand in hand to ensure that we had a very successful day. So kudos to the police service for the yeoman's job done today. This is how we expect them to operate. This is how we expect them to work. Fairness across board.
Okay, stay with me, Salam, because I also have in the studio Mustapha Gbande, and we'll be exploring a lot more with him in the studio as well. But news reaching us right now at Joy News is that something is breaking. President John Dramani Mahama has nominated a new Chief Justice, and it's on your screens now. An official statement from the Communications Department of the Presidency. The Presidency is telling us, in accordance with Article 1441 of the 1992 Constitution, the name of His Lordship, Justice Paul Bafabani, has been submitted to the Council of State for consideration as Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Justice Bafabani has, through his distinguished judicial career, served with diligence and integrity at the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and currently the Supreme Court. He has made invaluable contributions to the development of Ghana's jurisprudence. He has earned the esteemed bench of the bar and the wider legal fraternity for his intellect, impartiality, and unwavering commitment to justice. His wealth of experience and long service on the bench render him eminently qualified for the high office of Chief Justice. His Lordship has been serving as acting Chief Justice since the 22nd of April 2025, and that's a statement on your screens right now, signed by Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, Member of Parliament and spokesperson to the Presidency, Minister for Government Communications. So you heard it here first. Now we have a new Chief Justice nominated by the President. He's been holding the fort since the former Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba Tokono, was sent packing from that post, but now it's official. He has been nominated to be the man for that job, and we will be telling you what exactly he brings to the table. Now, just a little background as to why we're here. The Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba Tokono, we knew received quite a number of backlash after 3 petitions was forwarded to the Presidency demanding her removal over gross incompetence. Now, the President forwarded that to the Council of State, who ended up determining prima facie case was settled on that petition, and then a committee was set up to look into the petition. After the committee finished their job, they sent their findings to the President, who had to, make sure that he stamped their recommendations. And key among their recommendation was that the Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice, Araba Tokono, had to go. And so Bafo has been holding that fort since the whole saga commenced. There has been quite a lot of reaction to this. We know that the Chief Justice is fighting this on all fronts, the former Chief Justice. It's going to take a while for us to get it settled in our minds that she's no longer holding that post. She's currently in court, back to the High Court. This time, she's challenging the removal of hers from the bench as a judge. Yes, this time she's concerned that the petition against her that determined that she wasn't fit to serve as a Chief Justice only had to do with her office. This time she's in court. She's in court and she's fighting that on all fronts. We also know that she went to the ECOWAS court challenging this whole process, saying that she's been victimized, calling the whole process flawed. Well, some say that she's just holding this whole administration by the hook, knowing fully well that she has lost the fight. But now we have a new man for the job, Bafo. He's been nominated. And let's just give you a hint of what experience he brings to the table. And that's coming up on your screens now. A brief profile of Bafo, who he is and what we should expect. But then if you just look at the statement, it just gives us a hint of what we should expect in terms of the qualification he brings on board. And his picture is coming up on your screen. For those of you who do not know Bafo, his picture is coming up on the screen. So we know that he has served at the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and currently the Supreme Court. And according to the statement from the presidency, he's an esteemed member of the bar and so far has served the legal fraternity for years. This statement tags him as impartial and committed to justice. And so that's the man billed for the job. We'll give you details and more reactions here on The Pulse. It's breaking and we have it here first. And I told you that we'll be having a conversation just to give you a hint of some of the key things happening here on The Pulse. I was on the line talking to Salam Mustapha, a key member of the NPP. They were raising concerns about freedom of speech, and this administration, they allege, is trying to gag freedom of speech. I have with me in the studio the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustapha Gbande, and we'll be going to him shortly just to have that conversation. But you heard it here first. The news is that, indeed, we have a man that has been selected for the job, and we would be telling you more about him and why exactly he's been billed for the job. But let me come to you, Salam, just to get the brief reaction of the NPP. We have a new Chief Justice nominated now. Your thoughts?
No news. This has been cooking for a very long time, and the duck has been fully cooked now, and it's been served on the dinner table. That's exactly what has happened. It's a shame that we have gotten to this point. This is the first time I have seen in the history of our country a democratically elected president interfering directly in the work of the judiciary, removing a CJ. Even the Rawlings military, coup d'etats and all that, the kangaroo courts and so on and so forth, they never touched the judiciary. This is the first time we have seen this clandestine attempt to hoodwink the judiciary. And I tell you, it's a dark day for the judiciary of Ghana. I've been going to court in and out because of the molestation on our people. All the judicial system, now everybody is scared. So judges cannot come with destined ruling and tell you that I'm setting the law aside and I'm telling you that Ghana is an animal farm and that some people are more equal than others. That's what's happening in the judiciary today. And it is because of this jandam that is being cooked.
Okay, Salam, stay with me. Let me come in the studio. Mustapha Gbande, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, is my guest here on The Pulse. We appreciate your time. A lot has been happening, and I'm sure I would like to take it step by step. First of all, your reaction. We have a new Chief Justice nominated as the NDC.
Let's move to case number 2.
What does that mean? You're not going to say anything about it?
Finished.
But he's been nominated, though.
It's finished.
It's a nomination.
Yes, it's finished. It is finished.
And as a party, you're pleased with his nomination?
I have nothing to say. It is finished.
Okay.
We proceed on the running issues.
Okay, let's talk about the running issues.
Yeah.
The NPP have been on the ground today. They're raising concerns that this administration is trying to gag free speech. How do you respond to that?
Just yesterday, a group of young, law-abiding, civilized Ghanaians demonstrated, organized a vigil in commemoration of 1 year impunity, abuse of protesters using the police on their lives. It wasn't just on demonstration grounds. They also pursue some of them into remand. Some were pregnant. Some, I'm told, lost their mindset, their mental capacity. Some are sick today. Through that, I think I met one of them when I engaged them. His brother was murdered. All presided under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, having Salam Mustapha as National Youth Organizer, Miracle Abuaji as a staff at the presidency. At the same time, 2 days in a row, they demonstrated at the forecourt just in front of the Jubilee House, a place the NPP and its government pretended was a security zone and that not even a human being can stand there. You saw when I met them. I mean, those who thought I was going to stop them, you saw the reaction.
Yeah, some
Even
people alleged that you went there to disperse the crowd.
No.
You were talking them out of protest.
No. Never. And I'll come back to that. Never. They stood there, they did their vigil, we protected them. They did a demonstration. And the following day, you saw them eating on the street. In fact, the police protecting them were not up to 50. Now, they finished, they went to the Jubilee House again, made their own speeches, and they went away. Today, you saw these individuals, Salam Mustapha and his, you saw his response. Did it sound sensible, excuse my language, to you as an intellectual? This is a substandard National Youth Organizer. My National Youth Organizer is a lawyer, by the way. So if he was having to respond to issues about nomination of Chief Justice, he would tackle it in a way that will make legal sense. Salam is not, he hasn't been to law school, so I'm not surprised that he responded in that way. Now, what they're advocating for is that we are arresting people and that midnight arrest. They should just relax. We are going to reset internally and will intensify the arrest. It's going to be heightened. I assure them that now that I've realized that they don't like the Maria, they will not be arrested and put in Land Cruisers and pickup. They will be kept in the Marias. If anybody under President Nana Akufo-Addo have been found to have stolen money, wallahi, that person must be arrested and prosecuted. And some of us are going to stand against our own government. For example, PDS. Until PDS, all the individuals involved are arrested, there is no need to increase tariffs. That is the reason Ghanaians voted us into power. We have a full mandate backing and the support of the Ghanaian people to prosecute. That would be preceded by arrest, investigate, arrest, and prosecute anybody who has taken money in this country.
But all the utility companies, they're before PULC,
and
they're pushing for increments.
I'm saying that it's government's business to ensure that the people who chop the PDS money are arrested. They should be arrested first.
Before any tariff
they should be arrested.
Down?
Those people should be arrested. And let me tell Salam and his people, they can fly. They can take over the streets and do demonstrations every day. I can assure him that the arrest is going to be intensified. Oral is going to work, okay? Some of us are even going to fight against the law on this law that they have implemented, that when you steal, you can go to court and pay some. You can go to attorney general, plea bargain. It's a rip off the nation. All right?
But your administration is working with that. The Attorney General, Dominic Ayeni, is accepting plea bargaining.
That is my
In fact, that is one of the key things they're doing recently.
He has nothing to do. He came to meet it. And I'm saying that people must face the full force of the law.
So you're ready to go against your party?
On principle. Not your I'm a party executive. On principle, we can't allow these people to be walking on the street, and you have Nanadu going to Kumasi and saying, my legacy and President Kufuor's legacy. Nanadu doesn't have any legacy compared to President Kufuor. His legacy was a rip of this nation, an organized crime scene. Under President Nana Akufo-Addo, the whole Jubilee House was a crime scene endorsed by him. And let me tell you,
it's not a legacy left
we are intensifying the fight against illegal mining in Galamsey. That fight must not go down without people going to jail.
Many have called this government hypocritical. When you were in opposition, you agreed with the declaration of a state of emergency. Now you're in power. Declare a state of emergency. Let's see that you're intensifying the fight against illegal mining.
When I'm saying that we're going to do some research within, okay, and we intensify the heat. That we've been quiet for some time doesn't mean that we are timid. We are not. This government have the mandate of the people of Ghana to hold previous administration who have destroyed, ripped off this nation with their criminal mentality responsible. And we will ensure that that happens, okay? The Galamsey fight must not go down without people going to jail. You heard the young men yesterday. One of the things they were calling President Mahama out for is that, why is Charles Bisu still working? Okay? Why is Wontumi still working? The courts are still open. Okay? Why is the ministers who supervise the release of permits for people to mine in the forest reserves, why are they still working? We know of the 2,151 mining leases that were issued. We know the companies. The Ministry of Lands knows the companies. So
you're going after them?
If we go to your concession and you were supposed to reclaim and you haven't reclaimed, why can't we arrest you? Why can't you face the law for doing that? So I'm telling Salam that let him embrace his seat. What they are doing is a start of their re-election bid. These gimmicks, we've passed through it. We all do it. They don't have what it takes to think beyond organizing demonstrations. They are not strategic. They are not focused. A group of young men leading a political party into abyss, confusion, and disintegration. Salam was in this country when his entire government, the Jubilee House, was a crime scene. Everybody in the Jubilee House had a concession. They were mining without covering the pits.
Allegations we cannot prove.
Oh, please. I'm saying that let them, we are on the streets today. Have I ever come here of late? I've been quiet. Some of us will sacrifice ourselves. President Mahama can sack me tomorrow. And I will accept the fate. We will hold government to ensure that people are arrested for their crimes. Okay? These people walking on the street, trying to assume that we, the NDC, and let no one say that it is the party that is frustrating any minister or ministry or agency from doing their work. The NDC have not prevented any minister from instituting any action that will ensure that there is enforcement of law. And I'm repeating that these elements who have done Galamsey and are rich and walking about and thinking they are rich, we are sparing them and they are misbehaving, trying to turn a heat on us. The party will not agree. And the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, the National Security Coordinator who leads NAMUS, they should ensure that of the 2,151 mining lease that was issued under Akufo-Addo, we should go to these sites one by one and see if they have done reclamation.
So we should expect more arrests.
Tell Salam to relax, my brother to relax. Salam may not have stolen money. Tell him to relax. We are going to intensify the arrest. We'll use the Maria, the one they don't like. The one that Bronya was kept in. That is what the police will use. So these whole, gimmicks of trying to go and contest election, re-election, and that they want to keep them. Look at Nanabi's dress code. Nanabi, Look at his dress code. Nanabi is today dressing like a northern fetish priest. Nanabi, a very coward. He was there when they lost December 2024 election. Nanabi was there when we went to Akotia and they lost. We are still timing some more seats, one in the northern region. So look at his dress code. Comedy. Wasting everybody's time. He is protesting against a government that tolerates all the things they do. Salam have threatened us from January till today. Nobody have arrested him because he's a national youth organizer. He must speak. Whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, it's up to him. And
let me get Salam's reaction to some of the key concerns you're raising. Salam, we're hearing from Mustapha Gbande tell us that you should expect more arrests. How do you respond to that? Salam, you have to unmute for me to hear you.
Doesn't have any arrest.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear now.
I really wonder how you guys are able to interview Mustapha Gbande. He's too loose. Get mature people in your studio for us to have conversations. Because what he's doing there really is appalling. Talking about how people have dressed and looking like a fetish priest. Let me tell my brother Mustapha Gbande, you are just 9 months in power. Snap out of the arrogance of power that is already eating into your head. Snap out of it. I have been there where you are. I have been there for 8 years. You are just a newcomer inside it, and already you are brash. You are talking like you are Lord.
But isn't that a bigger concern, really? You've been in power for 8 years, and now they say they're coming for you because of alleged corruption.
Let me assure my brother, Mustapha Gbande. He says that they would arrest people and they will put them in Black Maria. That is fine. They can do it. They are in office and they are at liberty to use power in any manner, form, shape they like. I can assure him, they won't be in power forever and we'll do the same thing to them.
So you're threatening that you would do same if elected?
Yeah.
But what he said was
the same concerns you're raising. If elected, you do same.
But he's saying that they will arrest our people more. They will arrest more people. No problem. We will endure it. But we will look when some of them die. We'll go and exhume their dead bodies and deal with them. Even their ghosts, we'll go after them.
How?
That's what I'm saying. Even if they die, we're going to exhume their dead bodies and come and deal with them.
So this is now a political war, isn't it?
If they want it that way, fine. You said NPP was bad. The good people voted for you in the belief of a reset agenda. That you give them jobs. You stop Galamsey. Today, Galamsey has swallowed this government and it is belching.
Okay, stay with me, Salam. Let me get a brief reaction from Mustapha Gbande.
The Jubilee House has become...
Salam, stay with me. Stay with me. Just 1 minute, stay with me. Mustapha, we're just hearing from Salam Mustapha. This is political war, isn't it? They're threatening to do same when they come into power.
When they come to power one day, they can kill us for all I care. But whether they go to heaven or they go to hell, I am giving him the full assurance that, in fact, you know why? We are going to disturb our ministers to do press conferences, okay, to give state of affairs. As at the time we came to power, what did they meet at their agencies and ministries? Let these people have the mouth to talk. I don't understand why the Cocoa Board CEO is still walking about. We've heard Randiabe talk on radio, say the things they have done, how they rip up Cocoa Board. Why has he not been arrested? We can't continue to pamper these people in this country. Let them go to hell, okay? When they come to power, let them change the whole constitution of Ghana. If any day they come to power, after election and they win, I'll sign my will to my children and I'll hand myself over to them. But in the meantime, they must endure their treachery. They must endure the process of their criminal tendencies, that they sat in power for 8 years, behaved as if they were not running a country, were not ethical, they were so corrupt, very unprofessional. They punished the people of Ghana, destroyed businesses, dissipated the public purse and shared among themselves. They want to they think that when we're in opposition and we're not talking political. We're giving you evidence of their wrongdoings.
Tell me, when it comes to corruption, some people allege that Oral has gone to sleep.
Oral wasn't asleep. You see, when you arrest people, you must investigate. You must build a docket. It must go to Attorney General. And Attorney General must go to court. These people, let me tell you, the crime they've committed, you don't have the number of personnel to investigate all of it. One ministry, you can see 100 things. Okay? Procurement breaches alone, overinflated invoices in certain entities alone. You can't deal with. They don't deserve any mercy. Okay? So we are going to put pressure. That's why I said we have to reset ourselves internally to give fidelity to the president's legacy achievement of ensuring accountability. Look, they will start crying. These people, they will start crying. What they are doing is running away from their shadows. Salam and his colleagues are trying to shield their criminal formal appointees. And I'm saying that they can go to heaven and come. Look, Kenofurata is sitting in the US and pretending to the white people as if he have been victimized by this government and that he's innocent. Do you think Kenofurata, is saying to the white people that, they should help him and that he is being victimized by this government? We are going to put pressure on this, how do they call the man? This special prosecutor. If he cannot bring Kenofurata, he should resign. Kenofurata is a wanted fugitive of national consensus, including people in the NDC, the NPP. He has to be brought down to face justice. If we sit here and Yoko is arresting Ghanaians and extraditing them to US, and the US will not bring one wanted man, a man who has even punished our pensioners, taking their money, yet supervised every scandal that transpired in the Nanado's administration in the last 8 years. He has no business sitting there as the head of special prosecutor. Then we are going to stop Yoko from arresting, stolen cars. We can't be doing that. Only one man. Bring him. He is not sick. Bring him. Let him come and die here. We will attend his funeral. He's saying that when some people die, they will assume they are dead bodies, and we will be here to see Kenofurata being prosecuted, whether they like it or not. And I'm saying that the fight against Galamsey should not go down without people going to jail.
Is that going to be the agenda of the new Chief Justice? To ensure the prosecution of Kenofurata.
When we discuss illegal mining, some of us agree that the Interior Minister was supposed to change all the police officers, the 3 heads in every mining constituency. Don't put parallel structures. Let the same new police officers go there and investigate on the people who have done the pits, whether you are NDC or not, arrest the person. So the Chief Justice, on his resumption now, I hope that the Minister for Attorney General will speed up the processes to establish a special court, so that when you do Galamsey and you are caught, including those who have mined in the forest reserve, you see the number of ministers. Go to Ofuasia Iribi, go to Brekuduka's constituency. All these people are Galamsey fugitives.
But aren't you just speaking, really? Because your government also promised regional tribunals when they assume office. It's been 9 months.
I've said that, look, we are going to hold our own government accountable. We must move with speed. Ghanaians are impatient for the crawling, and they're trying to handle these people as if they are babies. No, they don't deserve any attention. Let's do it, okay? Let's give fidelity to what Ghanaians want. Ghanaians want to see prosecution. They want to see people go to jail. Salam is talking about arrest. Paul Afoko's junior brother was released from the court How many years did they keep him in remand? These people are talking about being intimidated. They should wait. We are not going to be going after the fries, our own party boys who are being used. The big ones are there. The ministers should open up on the scandals, construction scandals, procurement scandals. We have to investigate and start arresting all these people. If they don't have the evidence, we will send the evidence.
So you have the evidence?
Let me tell you, when we're in opposition, you know the amount of investigation we have done?
So provide the evidence to the Attorney General. Let's see prosecution.
That we are here to ensure that we reset our own system to increase the speed. President Mahama has done what he has to do. We have an Attorney General, we have Minister of Interior, we have an IGP, we have National Security Coordinator, we have NIB boss. They must intensify and move with speed. These people cannot be walking on the street and making noise as if they are angels. Yesterday's nation wreckers today are making noise. They are telling you that it is the NPP, NDC that have worsened Galamsey. And you trust these people, these individuals who destroyed water bodies yesterday. A president who issued mining leases for people to mine, free for all. Chinese.
So why not declare a state of emergency?
State of emergency is a security term. When they are talking about it, they don't understand the implications. I do understand, okay?
What are the implications?
My understanding of a state of emergency is different from what a layman who doesn't understand security will say. So those who called for a state of emergency, I have never called for a state of emergency at the time. I hear some of our senior colleagues spoke about it. A state of emergency is a last resort. We have a well-functioning IGP in Ghana. We have a national security coordinator.
But even the police personnel are under threat. I recall how Abisu, when she went on the ground with the police, they were all under threat.
No, they were
Why don't you take a radical approach to dealing with it?
The charade that people are in the forest and they have overpowered, trained army officials is not true. It can't be true. No Galamsey person is powerful than the military. Don't underestimate the power of the military. Look,
so why not deploy the military? Deploy the military, declare a state of emergency in these targeted areas. That's how you can deal with it now.
The approach has been streamlined far away from what was the case last month, where we had duplicated task forces. Everybody just get up and go to Galamsey side, harassing both legal small-scale miners and everybody. Today, NIMUs have been empowered. They are in the bush. In the last 1 week, they've been doing marvelous work. And I'm saying that attacking the bases alone is not the end, because when you move out, people go there and they enter there. So, President have directed that there will be permanent military deployment. Yes, we can deal with what will happen from now. But what happened in the last 8 years? And I'm saying that we have a national security coordinator, we have NIMUs, we have IGP. Let him use his district commanders and arrest everyone. Those who have mined in the forest reserve, they have committed a crime. Let's begin to arrest them. Let there be a special court where they are sent. If you have been sent there and you are told to go and do reclamation and you don't do it, and you go to jail, by the time 1,000 people go to jail, Galamsey will be a thing of the past. President Mahama have done his bit. Let's now hold the ministers responsible to do their work.
Okay, and just before we wrap up, Tamale Central, you must be pleased. Alidu Seidu is the man for the job. Yeah. People have...
I think that it's not about being pleased. For me, we have gotten a replacement for our brother who have died, painfully. We are still mourning him anyway. And I congratulate Dr. Alidu Seidu. We are still targeting more seats. We are not going to demobilize our election machinery. The NDC's election machinery is not for demonstration. It's for strategic thinking and winning of competitive strategic elections. That is what we are capable of doing. Now, if you take the NPP to even assembly election, they lose. Salam have gone to organize demonstration with his national organizer who went to Akotia 1 week, is it 2 days or 3 days to election, and they lost. We don't do that. We think outside the box, we organize, we mobilize, and then we go into the field. Now, today, look at the number of young people in the NDC who have been put into government. Look at how they are performing. You can't say that about this current crop of executives in the NPP. I wish my brothers well in their re-election bid, but these gimmicks of demonstration will not stop anybody. We will hold their balls to the fire.
Mustapha Gbande,
there will be more arrests,
Deputy General Secretary.
Nobody, this government, the list of the things we are doing is harassment. The list of things this government is doing is harassment. In fact, there have been efforts to tame those of us who are firebrands, just so we balance the equation. So let them stop this deceiving. And he says arrogant of power. I am not arrogant. From the day one, I speak my mind. I speak to them. I am telling him the truth. I've never been arrogant. I will apologize if I need to. So Salam, if we find out that whilst in government, he has stolen something from government, he's my brother, but he will be arrested. And he will be kept in the Maria.
Mustapha Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Let me take 1 minute, Salam Mustapha, just to wrap up the conversation. Your final words.
Well, I stopped listening at a point because I thought you were having a monologue. With Mustapha ranting and ranting and ranting and ranting. He has been ranting.
You had the opportunity to also make your point. So I'm giving you a minute to make your point as we wrap up the conversation.
I didn't hear anything sensible he said.
You don't
I'm
have
sorry.
a point.
Then there's no point to respond.
Okay, thank you. Salam Mustapha, a key member of the NPP. In the studio, Mustapha Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. You're still watching The Pulse. Please stay with us. We'll be back after this quick turn. Well, thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. So other stories now. The Electoral Commission has declared Professor Alidu Seidu Mahama of the NDC as Member of Parliament for Tamale Central without holding any by-elections. This follows the opening of fresh nominations by the EC after the death of the former MP for the area, Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, in the Ghana Armed Forces helicopter crash in the Ashanti region. At least 4 candidates picked nomination forms and 3 filed to contest. However, PNC and LPG withdrew after filing, leaving Professor Alidu Seidu as the sole candidate. The Electoral Commission subsequently reopened nomination, which later closed without additional contenders. Returning Officer Muniru Musa cited C127 as the basis for declaring Professor Alidu Seidu as MP-elect without actually holding a by-election.
PG. Right after the close of nominations, they submitted letters to the returning officer indicating their interest in withdrawing from that contest. In line with CI 127, the Electoral Commission reopens nomination for another 10 days. That 10 days elapses only the day before yesterday on Sunday. As it stands, it means that only Professor Alidu Seidu Mahama stands nominated. And according to the CI 127, with permission, I'll read. Where the time allowed for delivery of nominations has ended, and on the day before the elections, only one candidate stands nominated. The candidate shall be declared elected. In view of this, I, Muniru Musa, returning officer for the Tamale Central constituency, in working with CI 127, hereby declared Professor Alidu Seidu Mahama as the MP-elect for the Tamale Central constituency.
Let's go now live to the northern region and speak to our correspondent Martina Bugri, who's joining us live here on The Pulse. Martina, a lot of things happening in the northern region. What's the atmosphere like after the declaration of Alidu Seidu as Member of Parliament elect for the area?
Body file, the people already concluded that he was the MP elect, and so they are looking at what he will be doing for them. when you speak to people, they are of the view that having stayed in Accra, worked with a lot of people, he has the connections. They believe that he'll be able to lobby to bring in more development to the area. They think he's the best person fit to take the step of the MP who is late, because that's exactly what he was doing. And so people are excited that at least officially he's been declared.
And then finally, what key things has he said he would be doing to improve the living conditions of constituents?
So before he had been declared, he mentioned establishing an education fund in memory of the late MP. He's talking of adding senior high school extra classes for his constituents. The late MP was doing just the junior high school. He said he would add the senior high school. Skills training is one thing he said he would look at. Loans for women, he says he will look at. And he's looking at the broader infrastructure for the area. So he's cataloged a lot of things. He says that within the next 4 years, he'll be looking to bring to his constituency.
Thank you so much, Martina, for your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from that, the Environmental Protection Authority and Pure Earth are giving some more revelations over alarming poisoning of food crops and fruits in 6 regions across the country. A new study conducted by the 2 institutions in 6 regions, the Eastern, Western, Ashanti, Central, Western North and Savannah region, has revealed that mercury, lead and cyanide contamination has moved beyond river bodies to daily staples like tomatoes, contomere and now coconuts and mangoes. Listen to the program's officer at the Environmental Protection Authority, Hopsini Japan, who said out of the samples, Kokode-Nwamase and Zongo have become the heaviest polluted areas, where even getting a contact with the soil in that area can leave one contaminated with heavy metals. He spoke on the Super Morning Show on Monday.
Stress us in the study is that Zongo, both Zongo and Kokode-Nwamase recorded highest level of mercury in the soil. In fact, we are talking about 1,342 parts per million. That is the highest level. Now, what it means is that when you come in contact with the soil, which we call in terminology dermal contact, your skin come into contact with the soil that is highly contaminated, you are exposed to it, and it can poison you as well.
Wow.
We're also looking at still in Konongo, we're looking at the water. The water, it's also has higher levels of mercury concentrations, and also arsenic. And of course, if you look at the food chain, you would see some of these contaminations in the food chain as well.
What is more worrying, according to him, is that food crops, including contemporary tomatoes, mangoes and coconuts, are heavily contaminated in the same area.
I think this is scary, but I just want to urge calm. In Ashanti region, of course, Konongo, we look at the pawpaw, we look at tubers, we look at cocoyam. All of these exceeded the permissible levels of mercury, arsenic and lead concentrations. That is really worrying. And of course, if you go to other areas like Western North region, Savannah region, Western region, we can see contomere, the values as high as 4 milligram per kilogram. That's high. The permissible level is 0.03.
Wow.
And then we see the same in tomatoes, as high as 4 milligram per kilogram. And then, of course, pepper in Western North. We see contomere as well in Western North. We see contomere as well in Savannah region. And so there's the coconut, even coconut, mango. We see values as high as 1 milligram per kilogram.
In mango?
Yes, so this is really worrying. And of course, talking about the fish, we see a lot of arsenic. We see a lot of lead. The values for mercury in fish is below acceptable limit, but the challenge is that bioaccumulation. I mean, if you continue eating it in bits and pieces, it accumulates and can be very toxic to your body. So these are some of the things that we've seen.
Let me just ask, should we not be evacuating Konongo? I just want to know, is it safe for humans?
I mean, given the data and the values that we've seen, it's worrying, and it doesn't appear safe. But I think one good thing about this study is that EPA, from the data collected, working on policy briefs to come out with an action plan.
Well, environmental experts are warning of a full-blown impact of illegal mining operations on human health. Speaking to our sister station, Love FM, Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Impact Analysis, Dr. Samuel Obri, highlighted some consequences of the heavy metal on skin and health. Dr. Obri recounted how the burning of gold ore in the late 80s in Obuasi has now seen older citizens of the gold mining town battle unhealthy skin pigmentations.
Those older citizens around Obuasi can tell you that there was no vegetation around the PTP plant around that time because the sulfur dioxide gas being emitted into the atmosphere dissolved in the rainwater to form acidic rain, which causes the vegetation there to also extinct. And then there was also, the soil also became too much, the vegetation was not too much tolerable to some other plants. And those who were inhaling it and other things also had to have other conditions. So if you go to Obuasi and you go to those older citizens, if they remove their shirt and you take a first look at their back, they have what we call hyper-skin pigmentation. The hyper-skin pigmentation. Have you seen the Adisco school uniform?
Like the zebra colors?
Yeah, the zebra colors. So that is how their back looks like. Which means that there are also other people what we call the skin keratosis, where you have some small boils that normally are found around the toes, and then when it bursts, it has a very pungent smell, and when the soil is dries up or the soil is healing, it leaves a very dark black scar that we call it the Blackfoot disease.
While the country hopes the government will take drastic measures to curb the environmental havoc, experts are warning and advising that the use of plants and specific procedures for water purification may be the way to go.
Yes, there are technologies to remove. So in the house, just the normal, for example, if your water is contaminated with cyanide, you know cyanide is photodetectable. So when you heat it to some temperature and you allow it to cool. Or if you have some microbes in your water, when you boil it, it will cool down and then cool down, you filter it, you can also remove some of those contaminants.
Is there any other thing we can do to our water?
So when you have a ceramic filter, and then
you can have a filter, but that is not also, you cannot remove almost all of them. The moringa leaves, the moringa leaves can also remove it. The dandelion leaves, all these things can also take some of those contaminants from the system.
I see.
You can go by the chemical method, or you can use the reverse osmosis technique to also remove them, or the ion exchange method to remove them.
Away from that, head of the Pediatric Oncology Unit, Dr. Ernestina Shandoff, disclosed that annual childhood cancer cases have spiked from about 160 to over 230. Speaking at a fundraising event, she described this surge as deeply alarming, warning that unless resources and infrastructure are expanded, the unit's capacity to provide effective treatment will be severely strained. The unit currently treats cancers such as leukemia and solid tumors condition. Dr. Ernestina Shandorf says limited space and facilities are undermining the effective care.
Because our numbers have really increased. In the around 2014, we used to see maybe around 160 children with cancer every year. Now we see over 230 children every year, new cases, excluding the old children, the old children to be in the thousands. So the number of children has outgrown the unit. So we really need a bigger space to be able to make sure that we provide the adequate care for these children. It takes a village, that's the truth. So we are advocating through this walk for sponsorship to complete this building so that these children can have the space and we don't have to wait for them in the emergency room, wait for additional time that could impact the cure rate of these children. So I call on everybody, general public, corporate bodies, the government, the philanthropists, please come to the aid of the pediatric oncology unit in Kolebu so that we can complete this building and have these children have the optimum treatment that they need.
Dr. Ernestina, who works at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, is also calling for stronger public awareness and early detection campaign, stressing that timely diagnosis can save lives and prevent cancers from spreading in children.
Early warning signs can resemble other diseases, but if you have persistent symptoms, if a child is having fever, despite your treatment, it's still not going, you need to consider childhood cancer. If the child is having aches and pains in the body, you need to have a suspicion of childhood cancer. If they're abnormal swelling, usually it can be painless, okay, and that's one of the early signs of childhood cancer, any swelling in any part of the body. Also, when you come to the childhood cancers of the eye, the retinoblastomas, sometimes all you see is a whitish dot in the black spot of the eye. It looks like a cat eye when you look in the night. So those are the early warning signs. The very late sign is when the eye becomes swollen and the eye is protruding. Sometimes even the way the eye is positioned, like if you have a squint, one eye is looking in one direction, the other one in the other direction, is also a possible sign of eye cancer.
You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. To other stories now, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress have stepped up its nationwide strike over poor conditions of service, directing members to remain at home until the government meets their demands. Now, the union began its industrial action on Friday, September 19, withdrawing services across all technical and public universities, the Ghana Library Authority and the Ghana Museums, as well as monument boards. Leaders are all united, accusing government of neglecting long-standing concerns of non-teaching staff, despite following due process. Addressing members at an emergency meeting at the University of Ghana, TUC chairperson Salamatu Brima insisted that the strike will not end until their demands are met.
Declared our strike. NLC was contacted by the media and they said they have written to us. But brothers and sisters gathered here, as we speak, we haven't received any communique from NLC. So this means that NLC itself is tired. They are tired of our issue, and they are, let me say, frustrated because we have appeared severally before them. And so we know that we have followed the rules, and maybe in Ghana, this is the first legal strike that has happened in the country. So the union's position is that TEU has complied with every procedural requirement under the Labour Act 2003 Act 651. The strike, therefore, is legal, it justified and binding.
Well, let's explore this further. Join me now on Zoom is still TUC Chair Salam Mustapha. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. The last time we engaged the Labour Minister, he told us he was engaging you. I just want to get updates on that. What have you decided to come to a conclusion on with regards to your strike? Will you call it off?
Yes, thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished listeners. Yes, so the Labour Minister invited us immediately. We declared our strike on Friday, 19th September 2025. And we honored the invitation. And
Madam Salamatu, you may have to speak up for us to hear you clearly. I'm struggling to hear you, and I presume that my audience is actually facing the same challenge. So if we can try one more time and just give me updates as to your meeting with the Labour Minister.
Okay, thank you very much. Is it better now?
Much clearer now.
Good. So I'm saying that the Labour Minister invited us on Friday, the very day we declared the strike, the 19th of September 2025. And then when we got there, he listened to our issues, and then he pleaded with us to back down on our action so that he will engage the Finance Minister. But we said no, indicated that was not the first time. So we gave him a series of our communications with Labour and National Labour and Fair Commission as well, and for him to study. So he promised that he will engage the Finance Minister and get back. So we are still waiting on him.
And then, so far, have you gotten any official response from the Finance Ministry?
No, please. The Finance hasn't communicated anything to us.
Are you willing to reach a compromise and go back to work?
So, what compromise are you referring to here?
Madam Salamatu, we seem to have lost you. So I'm just asking, are you willing to reach a compromise? You've been engaging the Labour Minister, and he has been assuring you that indeed he will be discussing your issues with the Finance Ministry. But if you do not get that signature pendant, would you at least consider the children and return to work?
So it means that we're back to square one. And we have indicated that this action we are taking hasn't started today. It started way back in 2024. You see? So do we always come back empty-handed? So why is the government also compromised? Why are we always?
And we understand that the NLC, they've issued a directive for you to call off your strike. Have you received that directive, that official memo?
No, but NLC, why would they issue? In fact, we have received a letter inviting us on the 1st of October. So on the 1st of October, we'll meet them and listen to them. But they should be fair with us. NLC should tell Ghanaians the number of times we have appeared to them on this same issue. That should be fair to us.
Thank you so much.
We are leading people. We are leading our rank and file, and we are also becoming unpopular before them.
Thank you so much. I understand your frustration. We're keeping in touch just to get updates as regards to your negotiation with government. Well, that's how we wrap up the bulletin here on The Pulse. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a pleasant day as you enjoy the rest of our